Today, guys, we're heading out. Maybe I want to call this getting deep in the woods.
Nothing out there could ever stop me.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Bold Cafe, sponsored by Leaf Shade. Make sure you check those guys out. First link in the description box, and welcome to this video. First of all, thank you, Lancelot and Julius. Yeah, hi, can I just get a black coffee, please? Thank you very much. You too. Bye. What epic names, by the way, for the coffees this morning. I've got to admit, I do have two coffees. Now, I've got a little slice of perspective change that I want to share with you guys in this video. You'd be like, are you serious? That I really think is going to help a lot of you out there, and maybe just some of you need to hear this one. Okay guys, so before we head deeper in, I want to share with you how this video came about. So I had a DM from a young guy, basically on the premise of, I'm 22 and I don't have a girlfriend. I've got to admit, I was a shy person before balding, and it's even worse now. I just want to have the confidence so that I can approach a lady or something. I always feel like it's my head everyone's looking at when they see me. I just want advice or assurance that I can be with someone I like, and I don't have to wait until I'm 30 to find someone who is mature enough to know that balding isn't a problem. So from that message, the gist I get is, granted, he hasn't been slaying pre-balding days, but now he's bald, he feels like everyone's focused on that bald head, and he's worried, right? He's worried it's ruining his chances with making connections with other people. And I think, guys, the reality often is that we ourselves are solely focusing on this one aspect, right? And we're giving it a lot more control over us than is really helpful. Now, you yourself might share some of those same worries. One of the best things you can do in this situation is give time, give some focus to reflect on all of the things that are actually, you consider good about yourself. And it's always best to start small. Now, towards the end of this video, I'm actually going to share some practical steps that you can take to do that. It's all well and good just saying, oh yeah, focus on your strengths, but how do you actually do that? I'll be sharing some tips on that. But guys, let's head a little bit deeper. And there's one thing, one simple little sentence, one simple little scenario that you can kind of think of that I really think is going to help you change that perspective, this feeling of really lacking when you don't have this perfect head of hair, or if you're a bald dude like me.
Oh, what a rush each time you catch me. Chasing after the way you la 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 la.
I gotta admit, guys, I'm searching for this perfect spot in here, but you can't lie. Here, deep in the woods, deep in the trees, it's a little bit dark and gloomy. In fact, I've just spotted something that I think is going to be the perfect backdrop for this little perspective change that I want to share with you guys. This is going to be my tripod, I think. Finally here, beautiful backdrop. You've got a guy here, maybe like yourself, that feeling, right? That feeling that when you're out there, maybe you're interacting with people, or you're too shy to even interact with people, that feeling that everyone's going to be focused on the bald head or the lack of hair, and that feeling, right? You just want that confidence, you just want that reassurance that you're going to be able to meet women or meet another person that you want to start dating, have a relationship, right? When you're still kind of in your 20s or young, or, to be honest, whatever age, right? But obviously there's this notion that as you get older, people are more accepting of the whole balding thing, or being bald, right? So you're a young guy in your 20s, and you want that reassurance, right? Am I going to be able to find someone that can be into me, that can like me, despite being bald, okay? Now here's the thing. Think back now to when balding or being bald wasn't even a thing in your life, right? Think back to that point, okay? If you've been in a relationship then, or if you think, just imagine that you are in a relationship with someone, right? Two things I want to say on this bit. Now, if you went to that person, right, you're in a relationship, loving relationship, you're madly in love, let's just say with a woman, you're madly in love with this woman, been dating for a while now, everything's going great. And you ask her sincerely, you say, listen, babe, you're like, I just want to know, like, what's the real, like, why are you really with me? Like, what do you love about me? Maybe like, what do you love about me? You know, like you're happy, everything's going good. What do you love about me? And she looks you dead in the eyes, right? And she's serious, she's dead serious. And she says to you, to be honest, like, I'm only with you because of your hair. Like, I think you've got good hair. The rest of you is like neither here nor there, to be honest. Like, I'm not really asked. Like, you're, as a person, you're not really that, you're not much. You know, I've got mates that are more interested than you know, they work, I don't know, they're doing more interesting things than you. You know, let's be honest, you're not the most like friendly person. You're not really that funny. You don't do anything interesting. You interact with my parents. Those interactions there aren't really very, you know, you don't really interact with my friends or family very well. And us, you know, we don't really do much activities together, do we? You don't spend much interesting time together. Literally, I'm only with you because I think you've got a good head of hair. Like, I like the way your hair looks. That's it. You'd be like, are you serious? Do you know what I mean? How mad does that sound? If you think about it that way, just flip that script a minute and think. Back then, before the balding hair was a thing, before you even were pondering these thoughts, like, am I gonna find someone? Or are my friends gonna treat me different? Are people around me gonna think I'm weird, right? If somebody said to you then, like, mate, you're literally a decent set of hair. You're like a decent head of hair, and that's it, mate. You're like, that's it. You're not really, you're nothing else. You would be offended by that. You genuinely would be offended by that, okay? No one out there thinks like, oh, that's literally all I want. But as you know, when that hair is slipping away from you, or when you're a bald dude, right, pondering, thinking like, oh, I kind of miss that hair. Yeah, you know, maybe you kind of miss that hair, but I really hope that thinking about it like that, flipping that script, can help you dial in on all of the other stuff that you've got to offer, all of the amazing things that you possess, the qualities that you possess, the interesting things that you do and you want to do, the little things that you do day to day to help, you know, make people around you, make their lives better, make their lives more interesting, whatever it is, okay? There's so much that goes into each individual. Thinking about it like that can help you recognize that. That's the thing I wanted to do in this video, and that was the advice I gave to this young guy over on Instagram, right? Think of it a little bit differently. Maybe you're in a relationship, maybe you're a married man, and you are genuinely worried that your wife or your girlfriend, let's say, is going to look at you differently now that you don't have hair. You're like, and this was the thing that I thought initially, right? When you first met, maybe you had a cracking head of hair, you know, you've been together for a long time now, and that is slipping away from you, and you're worried that she isn't going to look at you the same. She isn't going to look at you the same now that you've not got that epic head of hair that you once had, right? Now, I know it's easy for me to say, like, you know, reflect on your wife, like what, or your missus, like how do you feel about her? Your wife or your missus, how do you feel about her? You know, how do you feel about her? I'm sure you know that it wasn't just one thing that drew you in, but if she came to you and said, hey, darling, maybe she said, hey, darling, she's like, you know, we've been together for a while now, everything's great, but I'm just curious, like, what was it, you know, what is it that you love about me today still? Could you look at her dead seriously and say, I just liked your hair, I just like the way you dress. Like, now we're together and things are all right, but I only really like the way you dress. Like, the rest of you is mediocre at best. Can you imagine the reaction you would get, like, if you were serious about that? And obviously, you know, like, if you know that you couldn't have like a long-term committed relationship with someone if you only liked the way that she dressed, because that wouldn't be enough to keep you there. That genuinely wouldn't be enough to keep you in that relationship, right? Because there's obviously be loads of more people out there with a ton of other qualities. And that is the thing that I wanted to, again, get across in this video, right? All of the things that you got going on other than the hair. And I know I mentioned this before, but I just think that is really interesting way of looking at it, right? If you went to that person and they said to you, you know, if you went and asked that person and they said to you, yeah, I only like your hair, you would feel like hollow. You know, you'd feel like, well, what is this relationship even based off? So for all those guys who aren't in relationships yet, or, you know, you want to be making more friends, you want to be more social, you want to put yourself out there, but you're worried that not having hair is going to hold you back, just say that out loud. Like, say it out loud. Play that scenario over in your head. And if you were like, I don't know, dating someone, you were like, so what is it that you know, you're on this second, third date, and like, oh, so what is it that you like about me then? And they're like, oh, decent hair. You would run a mile. You'd be like, all right, we'll see you later then. This obviously isn't going to go anywhere, is it? You know? So, I'm really shouting out here in the forest. Anyway, so hopefully that one little scenario is enough to kind of get you to think differently, a little bit differently. Think, yeah, you know what? Like, actually, I have got loads going on here. But if it's not, I'm going to head back home and I want to share with you guys a few little tips, a few little things that you can do to really nail in, really focus on, really reflect on and appreciate those other qualities. And by recognizing those guys, you're going to feel a lot better about this situation. Okay, hang on a minute. I just had to clear something up here, right? And say it, maybe just say it a little bit firmer. If someone had said you're only a decent head of hair, you would have been offended. So don't go thinking that now, because you don't have an epic head of hair, you're worthless. How does that work? Do you know what I mean? Think about it logically. That just doesn't work like that. Okay, so don't go thinking you ain't worth shit because you're a bold dude now. Okay, doesn't work like that. Does not work like that. I know it seems that way sometimes, but with a little bit of, is it called introspection? A little bit of reflecting on the situation, okay, you can get out of that slump, okay? That's basically what I want to say. Let's go, people. Okay, guys, so as promised, if you want to go a little bit deeper into this stuff and do some things that can help you recognize those strengths and qualities, I found this little worksheet online that might be helpful for some of you guys. It just gives you a little bit of a structure to work off, you know, rather than just going in blank and not knowing where to start. So listed here, okay, you've got 8 topics, and underneath each of those you've got 3 spaces. And basically just go along, fill in this worksheet. Maybe you can write it out yourself, and disregard the whole hair thing for a moment, okay? Completely disregard that. We're looking at all the other areas of yourself, right? Of your life. And there are some really, really good ones here. So things I'm good at, okay? And I really suggest you maybe start small. And if you can get more than 3, absolutely fantastic. I can guarantee you, if you think about it for a while, there's definitely more than 3 that you can work on. But we got things I'm good at. We got what I like about my appearance. I've helped others by doing what? You know, think back to times you've helped other people, no matter how big or how small. Maybe you held the door open for someone the other day. Maybe you just, you know, when you go into a restaurant and your first thing, you know, people greet you and you ask the waiter or the waitress, you know, how are you? Like, how's your day been? You know, those nice little things that you do for other people. What I value most, okay, again, completely disregard the hair situation. What in your life are the things that you really, really valuable? I'm sure for a lot of you guys, it's going to be those family connections, maybe a close friend, maybe a work colleague. Maybe it's literally just the ability for you to get up in the morning and have the freedom to make yourself a nice cup of coffee and you know, enjoy the day, right? Get the day started. So any compliments you've received over the years, you know, this doesn't necessarily need to be in the last 3 months even or anything like that. You know, think back maybe from when you were studying, or maybe at a time in work or anywhere like that with friends. Maybe you got compliments from some of those people that you helped earlier. Challenges that you've overcome. Okay, we've all been through different challenges in our lives. Maybe you were struggling to learn something, you know, maybe struggling to pass some sort of test. You know, what are some of these challenges that you've overcome in different areas of your life? And really try to draw examples from lots of different areas of your life. Friends, family, work, travel, you know, all these different areas. We're not just focused on appearance here, okay? That is absolutely key. Things that make you unique. Maybe you're kind of into some different interesting stuff. Like the other day I was on YouTube and I found this genre of like silent films of Japanese man's day in rainy day in the life. You know, That's an interesting, unique thing that I kind of enjoy, I think. And times that you've made others happy. I can guarantee you there are way, way, way more than 3 times in your life that you've made another person happy by doing things. And again, draw examples from all different areas. So, like I said, guys, if you want to dig a little bit deeper, give that a whirl, right? Take 10-15 minutes aside, go through that worksheet. And I suggest you do this a few times, because I can guarantee you're going to have more than 3 things for each of these topics. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. We're out here deep in the woods, beautiful backdrops here, birds are singing, sky is not blue, it's a little bit gloomy, but we're having a good time. We're sharing some of that wisdom, sharing it around. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, thank you for the coffees as always. They get me pumped, they get me excited, they get me out here doing this. I really enjoy making these different types of videos here on the Bold Cafe YouTube channel. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like. Put me down. Put me down? Don't put me down. Put down in the comment section below some other topics that you want covered, maybe any questions, also let me know. Guys, I of course will see you in that next video. Goodbye.
Got my hands all up on your sleeve. Everything I